He drowned alongside the rats I used to hunt in the galley. And there I was, all alone. Not that I have it bad here, mind you. I've milk and fish aplenty. Most folks will pet me kindly, and when one of the village girls holds me tight against her ample bosom, I purr up a storm. But I do long for a companion of my own kind, and in that regard, there is no one like Maxine. Maxine, the mayor's darling pet. So gentle, so fair a feline. The grace of her whiskers, the subtle palette of dyes in her sable coat. She's one of a kind, that cat. She likes me. I know she does. But when I declare my love, she backs away. I don't know why. I have serenaded her and braved many a bucket of water for my efforts. But for some reason, she is not to be swayed. By all means. People make a fuss about them because they endanger the lands around the city. They never bother me when I'm out for my monthly walk, though. But still, I do detest them. I mean, they're so unnatural, aren't they? Cats can have 9 lives, but humans are only entitled to 1.
For what, exactly?
Oh, don't mention orcs to me. Worse than dogs, that lot. Sank Walrus Willie's boat right from under him. Best ancient fisher in the world he was. A loss to us all.
Peasant.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever had the fortune of challenging the fabled wizard of Hunter's Edge? They say he's privy to ancient and arcane secrets, the likes of which
Back, demon! Back, or I'll... Well, what's this? Oh, Medora, you lummox. 1,000 pardons, comrade. This old bear's edgier than a dodecahedron these days. I'll tell you, it sure does me good to set eyes on another of our order. From Academy West, aren't you? Give Captain Mortruce my regards next time you see him. You wouldn't. I trained up in Academy North, after all. We don't cross paths with you Westers all that often, but it's always a pleasure when we do. Medora's the name. Retired, or so the Order keeps trying to tell me, but never out of commission. My hand to your cause and my sword at your side. Heavens hornets! That's quite a story, comrade. And come to think of it, one that might concern you. See, I'm here on, well, let's call it a loan from a town to the north of here. Hunter's Edge by name. There's been an attack there, comrade. Orcs. Not your run-of-the-mill savages either, but ones who've taken dark magic to new heights. What they want in Hunter's Edge, I can't say, but it's my responsibility to send them packing. Preferably with their horns in their suitcases and a knee-knocking fear of ever crossing paths with a sauce hunter again. I came south seeking the Legion's help, only to find it tied here in Sicil. They don't have a spare soldier to send northward, and even in my finest form, I can't clear the place of that many orcs without backup. By the skin of my teeth, comrade. The savages were rounding up villagers when one of them activated a tripwire on our village wizard's property. Fortunately for me, that particular wizard has a penchant for things that go boom in the night. I managed to wrench free of my captor's grip and flee toward the forest. He pursued me for miles, but I'd lost him before I made it into the Sicil hinterlands. Well, comrade, I hadn't thought of it till you tapped my shoulder just now. But perhaps that's where you come in. I need a contingent I can trust if I'm to take back the town. And the way I see it, you could use reinforcements here in town. I've been scouting Sicil for some time now, and I believe I've sussed out sufficient intel to help solve the murder of the Counselor. With our minds and swords in tandem, we'll make short work of the perpetrator.
Oh, careful now. Your head's grown more swollen than saffrons, I dare say.
More than I'd hoped, comrade. I don't know what in tarnation's gotten into the townsfolk here, but there's enough dark magic running roughshod to topple a small mountain. There's Mayor Cecil's doings for one, and the mysteries of our master Thalron for another. And on top of it all, the feline menace is lurking at every hearth and shadow.
Whatever happened to
You
that
mean you
tree?
don't already know, comrade? Their kind can see in the dark. It ain't natural. Now, don't get me wrong. I think the mayor's a decent sort, even if he can't hear farther than the tip of his own nose. But from what I've heard whispered around the docks, the old guy's gotten himself mixed up in something not quite on this side of the law. I suspect an illegal sauce artifact or substance is at the root of it, but exactly what or who's given it to him, I can't say. And since I haven't technically been assigned to Cecil, I don't have the authority to interrogate him. Fella seems like a humble doctor, but I bet my sword he's dealing in something darker than splints and tonics. A loose-lipped fishmonger let slip that she'd seen our good doctor scale the city wall on 2 separate occasions, well past midnight each time. What business could he have among the undead? Hardly the habit of an innocent healer, I'd say. Well, you know the old expression. 2's a tea party, 3's an invasion. I know this place like the back of my hand by now, and the orcs up north will be short work for a trained-up trio of sauce hunters.
Come now, Alistair. Surely you've met your match once or twice.
Ha! The closest I've
Another
got to
source
my-
hunter on the team will make us all the more formidable against this wicked magic. Welcome aboard, Medora.
That's the spirit. Listen closely now. Do you hear it? That's the sound of every orc and sorcerer in a 100-mile radius shaking in his wee boots.
Whatever happened to that troop of eager imbeciles we sent to the northern cave?
Do I seem like the sort who concerns myself with such things?
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lining your pockets.
Tell me, Alistair, have you ever
smell. Oh, that fierce stench of fried source goblin.
Actually, I think that's only roast pig.
Do I seem like the sort who concerns themselves with such things?
This time.
You'll be concerned enough when you realize that reward money won't be lying.
Pointless chatter with strangers does so thrill me. How did you know? Please continue interrupting my drink if you'd be so kind. How curious of you to show interest in a lonesome stranger at the bar. Let me answer by saying that who I am is hardly any of your business, and anyone with an ounce of tact would have known that already. So you've wrangled a position in the Fabulous Five, have you? I'm fairly brimming with enthusiasm at the prospect of calling you a partner. You'd better leave me undisturbed, or my emotions might just bubble over. You've been sent after Ahu's insane robot, I understand. Do you imagine that while you're busy being crushed by that abomination, I'll manage to get through a whole drink? Distraction for...
Undead at every exit. Orcs upon the harbour. We're sealed in.
Like the anvil of Grog, the torturer. All hail, Grog! All hail his hot steel...
Bloody undead. Remember above all to stay behind the wall, we tell our children. Now you heed them words, Source Hunter.
The hunters go a-stalking in...
Greetings, greetings! Oh, you are most welcome in my chamber. Customers rarely find me up here, but I do so abhor the hustle and bustle of the marketplace. That I am. I have spent more of my life on the road travelling alongside great caravans than I have in any given place in Rivellon. All of this earth is my home, for a few days or even but a few hours at a time, that is. You wouldn't believe some of the things I have seen. Oh yes, a city besieged by the dead isn't even remotely special to me. All the better that it isn't. For you and for me, because outlandish events lead to outlandish wares. Oh, but let us not discuss. Let us browse and barter.
Soon the last will be beaten. Beaten like the anvil of Grog, the torturer. All hail, Grog! All hail his hot-steeled instruments. By the filed teeth of Surumar's soul shredder, the end is nigh. Death comes a-creeping for you, Victoria!
The hunters go a-stalking in the night.
By the needles of the Million Bleeder, they'll end it all in blood!
The hunters go a-stalking in the night. By the needles of the million bleeder, they'll end it all in blood!
Move along. A source hunter.
By the filed teeth of Suruma's soul shredder, the end is nigh. Death comes a-creeping for you, Victoria! The hunters go a-stalking in the night. By the needles of the million bleeder, they'll end it all in blood!
Legion's greetings, Hunter. I am Septimus, 7th son in a household of 9, legionnaires all. Me and 2 brothers of mine were assigned to Sicile from day 1. Alas, both of them have long since fallen in battle against the dead. But never shall I lose heart. Long as a single legionnaire stands, all of us remain undefeated in the eyes of the gods. So fair a lady I have seldom seen in all of Rivellon, my friend. And I have traveled more extensively than migratory birds do. She stands accused of murder, but in my mind, her presumed guilt is a fallacy, and indeed a fabrication. Steadfast will I guard her. Never will I waver unless absolute proof of her culpability should be brought before me. And I hold no such proof exists. And what questions are those? This place is practically a tomb, and these Sicilians are constantly crying for our attention. There's a zombie in my garden, an orc ate my baby. My sheep is gone, oh woe is me. It never ends. I'll be grateful when our reinforcements finally arrive. Maybe they'll manage to muster the will to care. Don't even mention those rotten carcasses to me. They're the reason we've been stuck in this dead-end town for nigh on 2 bloody years. All fun and games in the beginning, but just you lose a couple of friends fighting those fiends. Get used to lousy rations and have but drink and dice for entertainment. And you'll soon come to realize that out of hundreds of cohorts the world round, yours drew the short straw.
So tell me, Septimus, would your wife or sweetheart be compensated by the Legion should tragedy befall you on the battlefield? The hunter returns! I hope you are here to shop rather than sleuth.
I am Esmeralda,
wife of Jake, and now, alas, his widow. Poor man. We were both so young when we married. He so rich and I so poor, but his one and only princess just the same. Listen, if you're going to accuse me of something, you had better find the evidence to back up your ridiculous claims. Starstone? I've never heard of such a thing. Dear Jake had a mineral collection, yes. As far as I knew, it was one of his pastimes, nothing more. Do you mean to imply he collected something dangerous? Something that may have gotten him into trouble? Oh, this is all too much. I feel like I'm drifting from nightmare into nightmare. Well, what do you want to know? Can you tell this is the most ancient city in Andervale? That pagan statue jutting out from the harbour is thousands of years old, in fact. If an orcish cannon damages any of the ancient structures, there'll be hell to pay. I'm telling you, a necromancer must have been at work in Sicil. Perhaps still is. How else do you explain risen dead sprouting like mushrooms in a single night? And that's not even the worst of it, no.
I've spotted something.
If only the popular girls from the Source Academy could see how edgy and dangerous you've become.
So, which of you is more deserving of life? Come, make your case. Excuse me, this is a private sick room. Who in the name of the Sevens you think you are barging in here? Out, I say, right this instant. Oh, I'm sorry. It's this task. I'm just... Who am I to meddle with life and death this way? I'm an apprentice of the healing arts. Healing. But this decision feels like precisely the opposite. I have but one healing stone, you see, and 2 direly wounded men who need it. I've been racking my brain trying to decide on the best method to settle this grave situation, but perhaps it's better off in the hands of an esteemed source hunter. Surely you are more accustomed to weighing life and death than I. What would you like to know? One of the brave few willing to traverse the trade routes plagued by the undead. A young man, but excellent in matters of business, before he fell victim to an orcish club in the north, that is.
Tone, soothing a corpse's troubled mind. Can't have gotten far.
Thankfully for him, a cattle trader found him, nearly dead, but not quite so, and brought him here straight away. Quite the venerable staple of Sicile, Stephen, and recently blessed with his 3rd grandchild. He was leading a crew of builders when a stray beam struck him in the temple, and only a few days shy of his last day of work before retirement, no less. Nearly everyone in Sicile is familiar with grinning. You are? I thank you 1,000,000 times for your help.
Yes, Boris deserves to experience all the pleasures of life that Stephen has already enjoyed.
Boris it is? Yes, I'll deliver the stone. I'm glad we'll get to save one man, but my heart breaks for the other.
Thank
No,
the seven.
no, this is
Can't say I didn't want to live. Wanted it with every fibre of my heart. Not just for my own sake, but for my family, you know.
Enjoy what remains of your life, will you? Never know when it'll be snatched out from under.
Farewell, friend. I'm feeling stronger already. 1,000 thanks to you, my hero. I promise I won't waste the life you've given. What will I do? What won't I do? Seeing how short life can be, how easily it can be taken from you. I'll see it all, do it all, and after I've climbed every mountain in Rivalon and smooched every girl who'll have me, I'll devote myself to learning the magic that saved me. Everyone deserves to feel the thrill of a renewed life. I'll see you around then. I'm liable to spring out of this bed at any minute. Sorry, friend.
Thank you. Thank you eternally for your help. Though your reaction to the healing stone, I have no idea what to make of it. That strange reaction you caused. Blue lightning from a healing stone. I've never seen anything like it. And the stone looks different now, too. Like it's devoid of life. I begin to wonder if its magical properties survived your little reaction.
Beyond grateful.
I've been studying under Theliron for some time now, but that task, being asked to play the gods, was the first time I've ever questioned my, well, suitability for the work. I've a passion for this work, you see. A passion to see things put in order. From a flesh wound healed to an entire city made resistant to a fatal illness. What right has something as trivial as a wound or as senseless as an epidemic to take a human life?
I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm beyond grateful.
But if one were to reduce the quantity of skull dust by a percentage of 2, perhaps the stability could be increased by as much as 3-fold.
Oh, a source hunter. Imagine that. Quite a bit more petite than the last of your kind I encountered, aren't you? Yes, by nearly 20 centimeters of tibia, as my memory serves. But, no matter. Even if it couldn't spare its heartiest specimen, I'm sure the Order sent the individual with the next highest probability of success. Yeah? Me?
I don't know what
Why, I'm more than a little surprised you haven't heard of me. Perhaps I can jog your memory. It was I who cured the Duchess of Arata of her unslakable thirst. A simple pinch of Atropa belladonna in her morning tea. I who discovered that aging itself can be halted by a single application of Secuta Douglasii on the tongue. Not to mention that it's been my guidance that has permitted my apprentice Evelyn to make quite a name for herself around Sicile of late. Yes, yes. If that's how we're referring to the secretive use of a revolutionary healing method she refuses to share with her own master. She's in the other room as we speak. Perhaps you can prevail upon her to offer a demonstration.
I'm bidding you farewell, friend.
She's gotten hold of a stone, supposedly capable of fantastic feats of healing, but she won't let me take the briefest look at it.
Stones for both of us. I feel no pleasure in bidding you farewell, Cal. Sorry, friend. I wish there were enough stones for both of us. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm beyond grateful. Sorry, friend. I wish there were enough stones for both of us. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm beyond grateful. I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm beyond grateful.
But she claims to have gotten the relic from a little northern town, Silverglen by name, and that an abbot there blessed it with the power to heal. Utter rubbish, I say. But with these blasted undead haunting the travel routes, I can hardly march up to Silverglen to learn the truth myself. Well, she certainly possesses a critical eye and an exacting manner when it comes to making difficult medical decisions. I expect she'll be a very successful healer in her own right when the time comes. She is learning from the best, after all. The world belongs to the young, they say, and Boris will live to take his piece. Thank you for your help in this matter. Certainly, what would you like to know? The counsellor. Terrible loss, that. Though we were hardly more than acquaintances, I knew him to be a devoted civil servant. From what I can tell, it seems to be a simple case of jealousy turned violent. The affairs of his wife, Esmeralda, were hardly a secret, you know.
I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm beyond grateful.
I've applied myself to that problem for 2 years and still haven't come a step closer to solving it. I declare it an act of the Almighty's, if I believed in such things. Some events, Source Hunter, can be neither controlled nor understood by mere men.
Mysterious healing stone. Interesting indeed.
Nothing sets me on edge like inexplicable magic.
I feel no pleasure in bidding you farewell, friend. I feel no pleasure in bidding you farewell, friend.